All right, welcome, Lorena. Thank you so much for being on the interview and, I'm so excited to hear your story. You're a freaking badass and you're so inspiring to me, and I'm ready. We're ready to hear your story.
Yes, thank you. This is new to me, but I'm always open to different things, and especially when it has to do with anything that's women empowerment, anything that can inspire and touch someone's heart. So thank you for the opportunity.
Of course. And so I want to start off with where are you from?
So I'm actually from North Hollywood. It's the Valley area. I've been here all my life, about to be 27 years, kind of crazy. And my family is actually from El Salvador, the smallest country in Central America.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's pretty awesome, like just being around like a community. Like I grew up around a community, a very Spanish community. I went to a very Mexican Catholic school for a big part of my life. So I was raised first language Spanish, and just being around the Latino community. So I mean, that area of North Hollywood, that's because there's the nice area like Studio City area, and then there's like the Latino community. No, I wasn't on the Studio City side. I was where La Cucaracha would drive by and come through.
Oh my God.
So it was awesome though, it's just awesome to be around the community, and now to be giving back to that community as well. So it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I want you to share with us, kind of describe your childhood, your parents, if you can give us a little bit more information.
It's interesting. I actually, a lot of people tell me, oh, like you have such a good family, like both your parents, and I am very, very grateful for that I was able to grow up with both my parents. I have them both here still, and I grew up with two brothers, so I am the only girl. Okay. And I must admit, like I always say it, like I'm so glad it was that way, because let me tell you, it toughened me up a lot. But it was definitely a good experience growing up with two brothers, in which they're actually right here, and parents, yeah, and both my parents, and it was a very, very strict household.
I'm sure, like the only girl, two brothers,
like having three dads.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it was definitely it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy because it's like, oh, the boys get to do this, I can't do this. I have to do this. And not only that, but I always wanted to play sports, and there was always more attention on like the guys playing sports, and the girl stays home. I think it might have a lot to do with like cultural stuff, maybe.
Exactly, yeah.
And play sports and whatnot. And luckily I was able to do it eventually, but I always tell people, like, if your daughter wants to play a sport or do something different, just let her be, because you need to let a child find it's their passion, you know what I mean? Yeah. So they did a great job, but I do think that the fact that I wasn't really involved in sports or anything kind of led me into a rebellious path, because just being so sheltered. Just imagine, you're in a Catholic school, okay, sheltered. You're in a household that's sheltered. So the moment I found any type of freedom, I freaking went crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it started at a very young age. I was like 11 years old, and I just wanted to find, well, I mean, you're not really going to find yourself at 11 years old, but I wanted to try different things out, experience, different hobbies and whatnot, play different instruments. So I did have the opportunity to take guitar classes, which that was great.
You seem like a very curious person, like very always like really just curious, like willing to learn. You want to try different things.
Yeah. And that's why. Go ahead.
And no, and like it's interesting to me because but unfortunately, like under with the community that you were, like you didn't have the opportunity to maybe be involved in like positive activities or like activities that were gonna help you. Exactly. So you can I know you can cover some of that, what you were involved in.
Definitely. Yeah. So again, like going back to, I think that's why I became so curious to try different things out, because I again, being so sheltered. So that's why in a way I'm like, everything happens for a reason. Even though I hated it at that time and I was so angry at the rules and the rules at school, the rules here, like at the same time, I'm so grateful for that because it's exactly why I am the way I am now. I'm so curious. I'm so open-minded to try different things. It's incredible, and even though when I did have the opportunity to try different things, I didn't try the best things,
Yeah.
again, it led me to where I am today. So, going back to when I was 11, I went through this phase of just anti-people, anti-social, and just me and my guitar and some heavy rock music, and even that at the school, being a Catholic school with nuns, it was like I couldn't even express that in school. So I kind of fell out of that phase and went right into the phase of the streets, being in the streets and being around people who were, I can't sit here and be like bad people, because to be honest with you, a lot of these people have heart, it's just society, and we're just misled, and we have a lot of doors closed to us, so I met a lot of great people that simply were also on the wrong path. And by the time I was 14, I was doing drugs. I was hopping the fence in school. It was just a new world to me, a new world, being so sheltered, going from a Catholic school into a public high school. I was like, wow, look at all these students. First of all, you can wear whatever you want. You listen to whatever you want to listen to, and you can hop the fence. I was like, oh my God, I can hop the fence and go hang out. This is great, So it was crazy because because I was so sheltered and I still couldn't go out. My time to go out and hang out was during school hours, and curiosity. There was little curious Lorena, like, let me try this and let me try that, and I ended up, on some pretty serious addictions, I don't want to say like alcohol, because alcohol was around, but anything from meth to cocaine to pills, and it was just so many things around me that I was letting it consume me, and not only that, but I became this person that was just so into like fighting. And I know it had a lot to do with what I was consuming, you know what I mean? Like just temper and these ideas in my head that misled me and made me, hurt people. And it's crazy because, sometimes I'm like, God, like, like this, it's incredible where I am now, like, but why, like I did so much. And then I'm like, it happens, like it happened. I don't regret it because it's crazy, but a lot of those people from my past, I am now helping with their nutrition. It's unbelievable. Believe me, I mean, just to be able to open an office in an area that where 10 years ago I was on those streets, writing on those walls, fighting on those streets, and now have an office in that
my
area,
gosh. And it's like the main thing is you understand where they're coming from. Like you can, and they relate, like you relate to them, and it really humbles you. Like you're in that journey with them, you're maybe a little steps ahead, but you were there.
Exactly. And it's true. That's one thing, like, that's what made me really get into the women's empowerment, because I noticed that I was starting to attract a lot of women with a similar past as mine. Because keep in mind, coming with, drug abuse and fighting, you lose self-value, and you end up in relationships that are also very abusive, and I even went through all that at a very young age, from like 15 to like probably like 22. So it's like just the fact that I can, really like people can identify themselves with me. Like a lot of women would come into the office and I felt like they were scared to tell me their story. But once I opened up about mine, it was like, oh, they could just release, and it was just, that's when I was like, I am meant for this. I am meant to work with women. And oh my God, it makes me so emotional, because I'm just like, it's incredible to see just the change and the transformation that I've been able to help, like the way I've been able to help people with their journey, like from being clean to just having more self-value to just understanding that whatever comes to them, it's not because of them, it's just the poison outside.
Exactly.
But we can't consume other people.
It doesn't define them, right?
Exactly.
And what were some unhealthy habits that you did? Well, I know you mentioned but like in your home, were you exposed to any of that, like the the drugs, the alcohol, and if you weren't, then like also, was your family ever into like nutrition or anything? Did they ever teach you?
It's so interesting because in my household it was just like that family in a TV show. Like never none of that. There was never drugs, never violence, never none of that at home, you know? It was I don't know. It still like surprises me. I'm like, because even my brothers, they're great. I was the black sheep, you know what I mean? So I feel like it just has a lot to do with sheltering. Like they did their best. They did amazing. Like, but because they were just so, they just didn't know about those things. Like even though I'd be here at home so high and out of it, they didn't realize it. They didn't realize it. They really years, you know, until the school started to get involved and was like, yo, your daughter, what's going on? You know, that's when the eyes started to open, you know. But keep in mind, like nutrition, my mom has always been like into super like healthy stuff. And I think that's why I came into the path that I am now, because while I was, you know, doing all this crazy stuff and putting all this unhealthy, you know, creating these unhealthy habits. Because keep in mind, I forgot to mention the cigarettes. It was 2 packs every 2 days. Yeah, it was crazy. It was really crazy. I quit that by 19 though, but still like from 15 to 19. And, you know, people say, how did you get it? Well, you know, I would pay the bum at 7-Eleven. Easy. What a lot of students are still doing nowadays, which is really sad, but it's so common, you know? And it's crazy because Herbalife and the nutrition was already in my household. And even though there was never pressure, like you have to do this, you have to, there was never pressure at home, but she just led by example. Speaking of my mom, like she led by example without ever pressuring me. And another thing which I recommend for mommies is just talking to your child. Like just try to find ways to where your child's not feeling judged, unloved, because that's one thing I never got. I never felt that, you know. I just would little by little just talk and communicate with her, and again, no pressure ever, you know. So it's just incredible because once I decided to change my life around, I was still observing mom and seeing what mom was doing, you know, and seeing her dedication, seeing how her discipline, seeing that nothing or no one, not even the negativity around her, was stopping her. And that's when I was like, you know what? I can do this. So it was never my home. My home is actually what kept me out of a lot of things, because believe it or not, like, there was a lot of situations that it could have been worse. It really could have been worse, because I see a lot of my friends, you know, that were part of that lifestyle too, that went through, you know, near death experiences, rape, molestation. And you know what? It's not even to put in, it's common. But I can actually say, like, being around so much negativity, drugs and alcohol, I never experienced that. And I thank God every day. And I also thank, you know, the discipline and the strictness at home, because even though I was high on my own things, there was times where there was no way I could come out my house. And that was a day that something crazy happened to somebody else. You know what I mean? So it's like, they're the ones that actually kept me, like, still, you know, on the good side somehow, you know? I was just experimenting and whatnot, but yeah, it's crazy. It really is.
Talk about more about Herbalife, because I know you said you've been like, there was you've really been into it for like the last 3 years or the last few years, but you've had, like you said, you've had it, you know, it's been in your family and in your life, known about it. But what made you like really get into Herbalife?
Yeah, so you know, it's very interesting. Because that's why I always say, like, on my posts, like, to me, Herbalife is way more than just shakes and, you know, people getting results. It was a lifestyle change, because when I decided to be clean, I started taking the products the right way. This was when I was 19. So this was actually, oh my God, what, 8 years ago? Yeah, about 8 years ago. I was 19 and I started taking the products, and I did 2 cleansing programs to clean out. And believe it or not, they were very intense. You know, the withdrawal symptoms and everything was flushing me out. Everything was going through my body, but it worked. It worked. After those 2 cleansing programs, I couldn't even smell cigarettes anymore. Okay, sorry. I couldn't even smell cigarettes anymore. And it's just incredible how how the nutrition is what got me, the products. You know, I started taking them religiously. I lost, because I stopped, you know, I went clean. I started to gain weight. I started to actually eat. So I started to gain weight. And then that's when I got really serious again on the products, and I used it to lose weight. And I lost 17 pounds in 6 weeks, and I kept them off for the longest. Yeah. So that's when I was like, okay, you know, this nutrition, like I feel good. I have that energy that
Yeah.
I but in a natural, healthy way. You know, I feel clean. I just felt so good.
Yeah.
And by little, like I started to completely cut off, you know, the people I used to surround myself with. And I started to surround myself with people that were into the health and fitness.
Yeah.
The people I was meeting at the Herbalife events, you know? And it was like I tell people, it's not about being better than anyone. It's just, I just started to become a better version of myself. You know, I had to cut certain people out that were a bad influence and really just start working on myself. And, you know, that's when I started to work out. This was actually 7 years ago. I started to work out. I started to hike. And what happened is the products gave me that energy. And, you know, I start working out. And, you know, they say you never get rid of habits. So what happened here is I turned the old habits into good habits. You know, so I went from, like, my addictions were different back then. And now my addiction was becoming taking care of myself, working out, you know, and it's exactly what happened. It just was a complete flip. So it was amazing. And that's when I started to help out a couple of friends and family. I started with like 5, 7 clients. And, you know, I started to see extra income. And keep in mind, I started going to college, a community college, Valley College. I started working for AT&T. This was all by 19, 20, 21, around there. And that's when I started Herbalife part-time. And I said, you know, this is cool. Like, I'm on 3 buses from school to work. On the bus, I'm getting clients because I'm carrying my product. I'm talking about the product. And I just started to see how I was helping people out and making an extra $300, $400, $500 a month, really, really part-time around a very busy schedule. That's when I was like, okay, I can do this. So I did it part-time for 3 years. Okay. Yeah, a little over 3 years. Again, part-time up to like 700, you know, in my pocket. And it was nice to just be able to, like, you know, pay some more bills, you know, help out a little more at the house. And I was like, okay. And finally, 3.5 years ago, it was 3 years in August. So almost 3.5. I decided to go full time, you know, and I knew it was going to be a huge commitment, but I also knew that I had been clean for a while. I had worked on my brain a lot, my philosophy, you know, I had worked on my brain, I had worked on my heart.
How did you do that? How did you work on how did you work on your brain?
You know, one, again, it was just going to the events, because when I say like Herbalife events, it's not like, okay, guys, take notes. The products are like this in the business. No, they work a lot on your way of thinking. So what we call it is personal development. What it's called is personal development. So I started listening to audios because people would say, oh, personal development, read books. Keep in mind, I went to 4 high schools for a reason, girl. Like, I was not into the whole school thing and reading. And I was like, I'll start with audios, you know?
Yeah.
So I started going on YouTube and listening to like Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins. He's great. Yeah. Les Brown. We also have, of course, Mark Hughes, the founder of Herbalife. He was, beautiful guy. Lisa Nichols.
Oh my gosh, she's my girl. I just
yes, that
podcast from her, and I'm in love with her. Her story is incredible. And
yeah, you see, like when I heard her talk about, I was from South Central. I used to fight like 3 times a week. I was like, oh my God, and look at her now. You know, like it's just, that's what really impacted me. Same thing with the founder of Herbalife, Mark Hughes. He was a high school dropout, like, and just to see all this, I was like, God, if these people can do it, why can't I do it? You know what I mean? So that's what really, like, listening to audios and just little by little, I started getting into books. And the one book that completely changed my life was The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. The 4 Agreements. Oh my God, I recommend that to everyone. I mean, it's just so powerful. So really working on my brain, you know, that's why I always tell people like it's 80% nutrition, yes. It's 20% exercise, but it really is 100% mindset. Because if I give you the nutrition plan, I give you the workout plan, but you don't believe it, you don't think you can do it, you're not going to do it. Even if I tell you you can do it 10 times, you know, you got to work on yourself. So I actually have a Telegram group chat with my clients. It's about 90 plus right now people in there. And we don't just send like workout tips and nutrition tips. We send a lot of videos, like YouTube motivation videos. And, you know, we started off because a lot of people have no idea what personal development is. So I start off with like 3-minute videos, 5-minute videos, then start sending like 1 hour Lisa Nichols videos, you know?
I see.
Yeah. And it starts to really work.
Especially in our culture, like what, like personal development, like why would I listen to them? Or they don't understand,
So
they're not introduced to us. And one thing I really like is so interesting is that, you know, a lot of people start with, they change from like personal, they go to a conference or something, but the way your like transformation, the moment where you change, it literally was within yourself, like your health and your, like you said, like the way you describe it, your cleanse, like it felt like all of that negative energy that like everything you put into your body was coming out. And like, and once it's in your, like once you feel good within yourself, then obviously, you know, everything else is it's gonna show physically. How do you overcome the habits that, I don't know, that are really hard to break? Like, what do you tell your clients?
You know, it goes back to one thing that I learned that worked for me and has worked for a lot of people is, you know, is your next move gonna take you closer to your goal? Like, just ask yourself that. Like, is the next thing I'm gonna do? Let me grab this pan dulce. Is this pan dulce gonna get me closer to my goal? You know, and that makes people think automatically. Another thing, well, the most important thing is when I get someone started on a nutrition program, I make sure to ask them why they're getting started. You know, I ask them why. What is your why? Like, what motivates you to get on a healthy, active lifestyle? And a lot of people will say, oh, well, my kids, oh, well, my health, oh, well, I saw my father pass away from diabetes, I don't want to go through that. You know, it connects them to their heart.
Yeah, personal, deeper level. Yeah.
Exactly. So when, you know, when it comes to me weighing and measuring them and doing their weekly evaluations, and let's say they're not having results, and I'm like, what's going on? Oh, I just got lazy. Don't forget why you started. Boom. You take him back to that why. Oh my God, she's right. Like the other day I had a client tell me, oh, I slacked off. You know, I just been, with the hubby, we went like Vegas and this and that. And I haven't ordered products in 2 months, and the products are made for a month. So that means you haven't had products in 2 months. I'm like, oh my God. Keep in mind when she started a year ago, she had fibromyalgia. She was feeling, it's like it's a disease we can say where your body just hurts, everything aches, you feel weak. It's really horrible actually. And she had been struggling with that for a very long time. And, you know, I just said, hey, just, you know, remember how you felt when you started. Because when she got on the products in 2 weeks, she felt so good. She said she hadn't felt that good in like over a year, you know? And I was like, wow, one, so proud of my nutrition, you know? And two, it's like, don't forget how you felt. Don't forget why you started. And she got on again, you know? She ordered a lot of products. She got serious again. And it made me so happy to know like that I could just really touch someone's heart and just remind them why they started. And just, it goes back to self-value, you know? Like, your health is everything. Like, if you don't feel good, you don't think right, you're moody. You know, I've had clients tell me, oh, my relationship is even better because you feel good, you have energy, you're at peace. You start to feel good when you put the right nutrients in your body. It works mentally, physically, emotionally. It's incredible, you know? So just to be able, I even had a single father once tell me, oh my gosh, I mean, ever since I started my product, I have more patience with my kids. I was like, oh my God, like, that's so beautiful. Like, He's like,
it's so fulfilling. I can only imagine, like, you have a smile all day, like, you come back from home just so
and it's crazy because it's interesting saying that because, you know, I'm human and I've had those days where I feel like, gosh, like, oh my God, I did so much bad stuff, like, in my past, like, am I gonna make it? Am I really gonna? And then boom, I get a message from a client, like, thank you, I feel so good. Hey, this dress I couldn't wear fit, like, and boom, like, that's why, like, to me, my clients are like, they're my push every day, because it's like, you might not be feeling okay that day, but you're still impacting and inspiring other people, and that has no price tag on it. Like, no money I make will ever compare to that satisfaction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just really, it's really about the people and just showing them the self-value. And that's, so like you said, it's fulfilling, you know, it picks me back up and reminds me, like, I am going to make it. I am going to do this. I'm going to be a huge impact in not just my community, but globally, you know. It's just, it's having that. And again, going back to, you know, personal development, like, feeling down, those days I'm feeling down, get back onto listening to some audio, you know, meditation. I have pushed that a lot.
Really?
The game for me, yeah.
What I know, so you want to teach your clients, you know, personal development and everything, and I saw one of your activities, you gave them, like, think of a word, or you made them, like, do some art. And where what kind of activities do you do with them?
Okay, so you know that that is a team meeting with the people that had results and decided to start doing this part-time or full-time. So everyone there is either really, really part-time, some, you know, very part-time, like full-time. We have all kinds of coaches, right? Different backgrounds. Almost all of them are parents. So, you know, they got results, and then they just decided, like, I want to help out a couple people. Cool, you know. So again, helping them with their health and fitness, doing the fit camps at the office, you know, the workouts, and again, the group chat to send, like, healthy meals and ideas, making them a meal plan. All of that is one thing, but again, I always threw in the personal development, you know. And activity, it's okay. So it comes from a book. So my mentor, one of my mentors, I want to share a little bit about his thought. My mentor's story is, I admire him because 4 years ago, this guy was living out of his car, a struggling musician, just trying to make it in Hollywood, you know. And 4 years later, he's a legend in Herbalife. Like, I can't even say how much money he makes, but he has the time freedom and the life that a lot of people dream of, you know. And it's something he built just putting his heart into Herbalife. So I admire that. I was like, oh my God, I need him to be my mentor.
Yeah.
You know? So I actually reached out to him, and he invited me over to his New Year's party. Okay, so, but he didn't do it on New Year's. He did it on the 28th, I believe. Yeah, the 28th, because he says it's not Happy New Year, it's Happy Now Year. You know, why wait for the New Year? Why let a date be the one that you know, controls when you start reaching for your goals and stuff? And you know, it really hit me. Excuse me. It really hit me when he said that, because I was like, it's so true. So many people are waiting for the new year to start, you know. So he had this Happy Now Year event, okay, and he sent out a memo to everyone. He said, make sure you guys read this book, because the party is based off of, the theme is based off of this book. He said, make sure you read it on the same day, girl. I was like, oh my gosh. Now year. I was like, okay, read the book. One word that can change your life. That's what it's called. So I said, all right, well, I'm still trying to get the hang of reading. So let me get the audiobook, because they'll probably be faster. So I actually was going through my own personal struggles around, like, that day. And I was like, oh my God, I have to read this book, you know? And believe it or not, the audio is only an hour and 15 minutes. Obviously, it's a short book. And it took me 3 hours, because I kept stopping. I kept taking notes, you know? So I finished the book, and oh my God, woman, it's so powerful. I can't recall the author's name, because it's 3 of them. It's really an activity that, you know, the authors started to do 15 years ago. And what they explain, they say, you know, us as humans, we tend to complicate ourselves so much. You know, you write down all these goals and all these things that are gonna motivate you. When in reality, like, it's so much better to keep it simple. Like, if there could be one thing that could remind you, well, why to keep going, use that, you know? So it talks about finding one word that is going to push you in the next year. And I liked it because I thought my word was trust, because I felt like I still had a little bit of trust issues, you know, even though I last year I actually did like personal development seminars, like 3-4 days, not coming out like deep focused seminars of personal development. I felt like I still needed a lot more to work on when it came to trust. So I said, oh, my word is trust. And as a book, you know, I kept listening to the book, to the audio. He says, you think you have your word, but you don't have your word. Like, you need to pray, you need to meditate. You really need to really give it time. It could take 10 minutes. It could take 2 weeks. Like, it took one of the authors. And I said, well, I want to have my word today. So I meditated for like 20 minutes, girl. And he says in the book, you know, when you decide to do that, to find your word, to discover your word, you got to ask yourself 3 questions. So these are the 3 key questions.
Okay.
It says, what do I need? What is holding me back from what I need? Okay. And what do I need to let go of? So I said, what do I need? I need to act on my whatever ideas I have, just act on them. Just act, just do it. Because I have so many ideas, and I would stop myself like, oh, well, I have to do this. Oh, well, let me ask the team what they think. Oh, let me ask this person what they think. Right? So then I said, what is holding me back? And I said, fear of failing, fear of rejection, fear of what are people going to say. And that's when I was like, oh my God, that's why I don't complete things. That's why I don't act on things. That's why I have trust issues, fear of love.
Yeah.
Okay. So it all came back to fear. And then I said, what do I have to let go of? I also love to sing. And I've always, like, the very few people that have heard me, like, are like, dude, you got to get out there. And I'm like, it was like this fear, girl, this crazy fear that would come over. And one of the seminars, the last one, I had to, for the first time ever, I had to sing in front of a lot of people, because somehow they just break you down and you just can't get out of it. You're scared to sing. Now you're going to sing in front of everyone.
Oh my gosh.
I felt every part of my body shaking. I was sweating.
That was like the core. That was it. That was just very sensitive. So I can only imagine. Yeah.
I wanted to run out of there.
Oh.
I have to complete it. And even though it did help me out to be more open with my singing, I still wasn't fully open, you know? So I was like, okay, fear of what people think. Fear. What do I need to let go of? Fear. And the word that just came to me was fearless. Oh my gosh, girl. And if you give me 1 second, I'm going to grab my painting.
Yeah.
The word fearless. Okay, give me 1 second.
Yes.
Okay, so fearless. So he said, once you find your word, okay, so we got to the event, to the party, right? And I was all proud, because I know a lot of people didn't read the book, but I was so proud. I was like, I read the book, I have my word. And I told him, hey, I think I have my word. And he said, you think? If you think you don't have it, go meditate, go figure it out. I was like,
damn, this person's like straight up.
The best mentor anyone can ask for, honestly, Garen Jones. And honestly, I've had like 2 mentoring sessions with him, and he's so busy and traveling. Like, he doesn't even realize that I believe he's my mentor, you know, like, he is my mentor. But and I went and I thought about it, and I thought about it some more. I literally sat and meditated in a little corner. It was so funny. And it came to me, and I said, that's my word. That's my word. I know it. It's my word. So in the book, he also says, when you find your word, you're going to know that this is how you know it's your word. You're going to start to hear it randomly. And I heard one of my friends telling somebody else, you know, I did this activity last year and it changed my life. It's crazy because my word was fearless. He said it. I was like, oh, that's my word. You know, I was like, oh my God. So what the painting is, you have to paint it with your non-dominant hand. So I'm a lefty. I had to do it with my right. Okay. And the reason why, he says that it stimulates a different part of your brain. So when you use your non-dominant, whatever idea, and you're painting, whatever idea comes, you just do it. Just paint it. Don't think about it, just paint it. So this is crazy because I was painting this and I didn't know why I boxed out fear. I don't know why I did the birds and the sun and the green, flowing. And once I finished, it came to me. I was like, oh my gosh, fear keeps you in a box. It doesn't allow you to love. It doesn't allow you to fly.
Wow.
It doesn't allow you to shine, and it doesn't allow you to just flow and be yourself, and I was like, oh my God, this is so powerful, so, this is really special to me. Like, actually, always.
It makes you think of like such a journey and a process to get to like that word where that word is like in your core, into your heart. And I love that.
Yeah, I really recommend, you do it, and you can share this with your family and friends. And, I did it with the team at the team meeting on Tuesday. A lot of them didn't read the book, so I really just summarized it. But I just made sure that I really transmitted that energy and really explained mine, like from my heart. I had two of the other coaches that did it at that event also explain theirs. So it kind of gave everyone an idea. So I said, all right, guys, you got 10 minutes, meditate. I even put meditation music on. And it was interesting because I could see everyone just thinking, and I bought the little things. I went to Walmart and the Dollar Tree, and they had all the things. And so Michael's has them too. So I bought each of them one. And, next thing you know, everyone was a righty. So everyone started with their left. And it was interesting. Like, I kind of was just observing, and, I recorded, like you saw, I put it on the Instagram story on Snapchat. And oh my God, like most of us were a ball of tears by the end of that night.
I know, you telling me the story, I kind of want to cry.
Yeah, like it just because, everyone has different challenges and everyone has different obstacles. Same thing, we should say. And your word is like gonna push you through that. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna like really get you going. So like, for example, we have one that's about to be a mom. She's like 3 weeks away from giving birth, and her word was strong, and the way she painted it, like she didn't even realize what she had painted till she finished, and it was just so beautiful. Like it had us all in tears,
Oh my God.
We had before her word was also fearless, and the way she explained it was just so beautiful. Like the way everyone just found their word and what came to their mind and what they painted, to give back. And that's what I mean by surround yourself with people that are a good influence and that benefit you. If I was still with all the negativity, I wouldn't have been able to give back to my team and offer this opportunity for them to find their word. You know what I mean? So it's incredible what happens when you're open-minded and just willing to change and willing to become better. So I definitely recommend that book, One Word That Can Change Your Life, audiobook, or buy it and do this activity with your non-dominant hand.
Yeah, I love it. And what I want to know, what does your family say now?
Oh my God, complete transformation. Well, my brothers they tell me like, oh, we used to pray for you all the time. Like, yeah, like all the time. My mom, she just, honestly, like, even if I still do my little mistakes, she lets everything, like, she's just so cool about everything because she's the one more than anyone in this household that knows what I was doing and what I was involved in and where I came from. And, she sees my transformation, and I have the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful opportunity to have her at the office. We work there together, because I told her, Mom, estamos en una comunidad, like, where we have everything. We have the Spanish people, we have blacks, whites, we have, it's such a good area, it's so diverse. Excuse me. 1 second. There it is. It's so diverse, and why don't you come? I'll keep triggering, because I was there by myself for 2 years, but I was triggering mostly people like our generation. But then we have Vallarta right there, and a lot of moms. We have the school that's like, Mom, why don't you come? And because I can't do it all, I'm like, why don't you come and trigger you know, las señoras, you know, like we got to get this healthy lifestyle in our community because one, the Latino community, we're the most stubborn and hard-headed. We really are. We really are. It's the truth. But we also are the ones that need nutrition the most.
Yes.
High cholesterol, diabetes, it's like out of control in our community. So, you know, it's actually
it's not that they don't want to. I feel like we're not educated. Like, you know what I mean? Like they don't know like like what they're putting in your body. And I know I tell my parents too, I'm like, we don't need vegetables. Like I haven't seen a vegetable in a week. Like
you're right.
I just see bread, puro pan.
Yeah, it's hard, you know, and you're right. Like, you know, I'm working with, because I love working both markets, but I love working the Spanish community just because, again, it's a little more difficult.
Yeah.
But it's true. A lot of these people just are not informed, and it's so heartbreaking, you know. And that's why I'm like triggering our community more than anyone, because we just don't have the information, you know. So it's incredible to be able to do that along with my mom. So she uses me as an example. It's freaking awesome. I love it. Like she doesn't care, because I might not be where I want to be in Herbalife, like economically and the level I'm at, but as a person, I'm growing through the process. You know what I mean? Like I'm just growing. I'm not just going through it. I'm growing through the process. So, you know, and my dad, well, he wants to see the money. That's what he wants, but he's also he's very patient, and you know, he's being very understanding.
Like, how do you balance your time? Like I'm sure you're so busy because you're organizing like future meetings, the workouts, the everything. You're managing your clients, like, and then you meditate. And then your own workouts and stuff. How do you do that? Like, walk me through your day.
Oh, girl. So I work with agenda. Obviously, I have with agenda. It's funny because a lot of my team members are like, Lorena, can you just have one notebook? I have a team meeting notebook, a workout notebook, my agenda. I have like notes, you know, I have so many books. Excuse me. And I just write everything down, honestly. And I really, one thing that helped me is always get what's most important, your priority, done first. So I'm at the office in the mornings, anytime from 7:30 to 12, sometimes from 9 to 12. It really depends, 9 to 1. But a lot of times while I'm there, that's when I'm doing my follow-ups with my clients. I'll train in the morning sometimes, like at 7 a.m. before we open the office. So I get some training done there. Again, follow-ups, the flyers I make, everything that I post on social media, I'm usually making it during those office hours. Again, follow-up, meal plans. So yeah, it's a lot from, you know, a lot of times it's funny because people come into the office to have their breakfast. So my mom's like serving them, and like, you know, we're supposed to talk with them. And I love it because my people already understand, like, I'm listening. Okay, yeah, but I'm also working, you know? And they understand. So it's incredible. Like, that's awesome. And then my free time is usually between like 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. So that's when I do my own workouts. That's when I obviously have lunch. That's when I either read, listen to audios, or meditate. I get to meditate too. Also, so that's that. And then usually by 6 o'clock, I have the fit camps. I have team meetings. Anytime after 6 p.m. is when I have something going on. So team meetings, fit camps, you know, just different activities to, like, you know, keep the community going. Believe it or not, even family, it's hard sometimes because I'm like, I'm writing my agenda, and it kind of, I've teared up about it before when I actually have to write down in my agenda, family time, time with my boyfriend. But I just think to myself, like, it's temporary, you know, like you got to sacrifice so much now.
Yeah, hustle.
Yes, you got to do it all right now.
Yeah.
Not going to be like that forever. And again, I look at a lot of my friends that already made it in Herbalife, and oh my God, bro, they'll take a whole month vacation with their family. And I'm just like, that's what I'm working for, because they did the sacrifices I'm doing now, you know? So,
and people need to, that's the truth. Like, it's really hard because people don't get it. Like,
especially if they're in the corporate world.
Yeah.
Like they think it's just a 9 to 5. Like this is not a 9 to 5.
I know. Once you get into the personal development, you just change.
Yeah.
Your like whole like everything blows your mind, and you're
Yeah.
like, I'm doing my own thing. And then I totally see in the future like you creating your own like meal. I don't know if you follow Masi Arias or
I love her, girl. That was
you,
first,
basically.
yeah.
Like your own version.
You know, actually, it's funny because I saw how she started putting English and Spanish, and I remember telling myself like, I need to start doing that. And now I saw you doing. I'm like, that's a sign. Like I need to.
No, it's so important because especially like my friends' moms, like I have them on Facebook, and now they're getting more involved, and it's just being more consistent. Like if you're gonna do it once, like keep doing it, or else it's just not that organized. People don't like it. People, so those are the main people, and sometimes like it feels at home when you're writing in Spanish, or you just attract more people.
I'm gonna do it. You girl, you inspired me. I have to start doing that.
Yes, do it. Okay, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Like, have you thought of that?
Oh my God, girl. So at the Happy Now Year event, we actually had to do a 5-year plan.
Okay.
And of course, like I start to think, I'm overthinker. I really am. I could totally admit that. Like I just think and think and think. And it's crazy because I did think about it, and it's like 10 years from now, I'm gonna be 37, and I want to just of course, actually in the next 2 years, I want to retire my dad, maybe sooner. Mm-hmm. So by that time, I just want to have the time freedom to not just travel by myself, but travel with my whole family. I also I'm going to do the ancestry.com because a lot of people have told me, like, I know you say you're Salvi, but you got to have something else. And I've had Italian people tell me, are you sure you're not Italian? And I just found out that on my grandma's side, it's all Italian. So I'm like, oh my God, these people like saw it in me and I didn't even know. So I want to do ancestry.com to really find out like where my roots, and my goal is to just by 37 already have traveled to all those places where, my family comes from. So that's a goal, to just travel, and of course to give back. I really, really want to open, Herbalife has this organization, it's called Casa Herbalife.
Okay.
And Casa Herbalife, they open homes all over the world for orphans, and they give them a home. There's people there working out of there, taking care of them and giving them the nutrition, which is the best part. They make sure that they're healthy. So my goal is to open a couple of those. You have to really be up there in Herbalife to be able to do that. So I definitely, by the time I'm 37, I want to have at least three minimum. Oh yeah, girl. It's just, you gotta think like.
You gotta think huge.
Yeah, exactly.
I totally believe you're gonna have 5. I know.
Yeah. Oh my God. And of course, I want to have a family of my own. Like, it's crazy, but like even a year ago, I used to be like, I don't believe in marriage. And now I'm like, I want to get married. I want to have 2 little ones of my own. Like, and it's funny because I would always say, like, I'm not having my first child till 35. So maybe a little earlier if I want to have 2 by 37. So just really, have my family and travel with my family and just be able to give back to not only my community, but like globally, have those homes.
Exactly, yeah. I think it starts within your community and then you can reach out, being in, like, I went to UC Santa Cruz for 2 years and I actually dropped out because I didn't, like, it was such a culture shock. It's such a like white area, like be like rich. I don't even know. It's just, they're all privileged. Like I learned that I'm a very hands-on person. Like I've always done organizing events and things like that. And I love it. And I like the energy that people give me, like that's what I feed off of, So, so now I'm back in my community and I'm doing all these like events and workshops, and I wouldn't have it any. I'm like, why would I help some other organization or some other community if my community is in desperate need of help right now?
Yeah, I hear you 100%. No, you're right. And that's why I feel like I'm so anxious to get the community out. You know, I'm like, oh my God, we have to do this.
Yes.
That's going to be the way to really start expanding and to really be seeing like, what is this girl doing in her community? Like, you know what I mean? It's, I
Amazing.
hear you. Yeah. So
And I want to know, okay, so what would you tell your 16-year-old self? Like, if you could go back and think, like 10 years ago.
yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Geez, you know, it's crazy that you say that because 16 was my probably my worst and most intense year. I lost someone very, very close to me, and that's when I like sunk myself into more abuse, you know, to myself. And that's when I would definitely tell myself, like, it's okay, like it's life is happening, grow from it, and just value yourself. Like, don't let the outside poison get to you. Don't let the pain define you and bring you down. Let it build you up and make you stronger. You know, that's one of the
Wow.
definitely see like whatever let adversity motivate you and push you to become better rather than have you sink in a cup of water, you know. So that definitely that, and that it's okay to open up, and if you need help, it's okay to ask for help. Let your ego put your ego down, girl. You know, because
Yeah,
let me
yeah.
like at the time my ego, oh my God, no one could tell me anything. And you know, I feel like, oh my God, if I could just see myself at 16, I feel like I would break right through me. I really would, you know, I really would, just because the experience, you know, sorry.
Yeah.
So I would definitely just talk about, you know, just being yourself, you know, ask for help when you need it, and just grow through adversity.